like, look, you know, you meet with them, and then like Stone, I think, and our other couple guys, they said, look, if we can help you, great. If you don't want us to help, if you don't want us to be involved, you tell us that too. We'll do whatever you want.
Exactly.
Yeah, cool. I mean, I'm dying to say it would be so trivial, but I saw pictures of the body. Did you even see these pictures from body surfing?
Yeah.
Solid, like pure form. I mean,
he's a great player.
And I wanted to say, like, see these fucking I mean, come on, we got to look at it. Incredible, like great form. It wasn't like pretending to body surf, running, or bad colors. We didn't have a neon. But that's not why that's not why but I'm frustrated when I hear this thing like, you've heard this book, Abomination?
Yeah.
Trash.
And they're gonna build this into this other Swift boat thing, which is, it was actually written by the guy who participated in the Swift boat thing. So it's all happening again. It's all like Republican playbook. And you want to like ignore it, but you can't, because there's a Republican, there's like a, not to say Republican, but there's a right-wing networking thing. They're going to get that on all the radio stations, and they're going to tell people to buy 10 copies, and it's going to be the bestseller on the New York Times list, and then it's going to be taken seriously. So it's almost like you have to react to it, as much as you don't want to. You just want to like dodge the punch or let go of the tug-of-war rope, right? But I think you have to like just call it immediately. Bullshit. You know, so I don't know if that's something we can do as a whole, or just like, you know, because even the guy who wrote it, he doesn't have any credibility, and if you watch him on an interview, which I did yesterday on C-SPAN.
Yeah, he's on Meet the Press, or on, it's not Larry King.
C-SPAN, and then probably he's done everything. He won't actually, they ask him, like, is it true, is it not true, what your sources, whatever. He's like, I just think that it's good for people to argue about this stuff, or have political, he just gets around it like, I don't know.
His major sources are right-wing blogs, too. That's what, not in his voice at all. And the mainstream press gives him too much exposure.
You mean this critical guy?
So-called
now here's
liberal media gives him too much exposure.
Don't know either way, and they see the media, and that's what they believe.
It's nice to have this kind of forum here. I'll tell you something. I ended up, we did a benefit, you can't tell anybody that.
Our secret.
All right? You good with that? Yeah. Didn't hear from me. But we did this thing where at some point in the last weeks and months, we raised a bunch of money, and for a good cause, somewhere here on the East Coast. I'm trying to be vague. And I ended up in a room that these guys had something to do with the organization, and they were good guys, but they were heads of media kind of guys, like heads of like certain stations that we all know and watch and are on every day, 24 hours. And I said, that we were talking about it, and they had a couple drinks, and we had just raised a bunch of money for them, right? So we were like, I was like Cinderella the ball, and they wanted to talk to me, right? But I said, you know, there was something that happened when after it went Hillary and Obama. There was something that happened where all of a sudden it was like, in the polls the next day, it was like 46 Obama, 44 McCain, and I said, and I just didn't believe it.
Yeah.
And they said, and this is part because they maybe had a drink or two, but it wasn't that they were drunk. But this is power talk, right? They didn't even they weren't apologetic because it was power, and they said, well, you know, you understand, like, don't be fucking naive.
Oh, wow.
We want this to go Game 7.
Yeah. Right.
So
Okay? You getting this?
Yeah.
Like it has to go Game 7. That's our job. It has to be close. We want people tuning in every day.
That's the housing market and the gas prices too.
See, I got chills. It's upsetting. It's bizarre, but that's power, and that's what they're doing. So how do we combat that? I'm not exactly sure. I mean, one thing is to push it so far where they can't even make it close.
Right.
And maybe that's just encouraging everyone around us, and young people, and everybody.
It's like you said, the airport, man, too frequency.
That's why you have to give a
Democrats
shit.
and Republicans.
That's why they need to give a shit.
It's not the Patriots or the Broncos or whatever.
But
Yeah,
It's not a football game, I mean.
and we thought
But it's
Moore
not-
and Kerry won. We were convinced. And then who wins? Nothing.
Well, it's all, and then another long story, and I got to go. But, you know, I worked at a gas station, we had those D-bolt machines. It was one of the first gas stations, and it was in San Diego. This is like one of the first gas stations where you could use a card